uh, concept of charity as per philosophy of Sree Sree Thakur Anukulchandra. So in this session, we will have initial short three speeches, and then we will have question answer sessions also, because I think charity is a really interesting concept, particularly while we are talking in UK. And so, while our first speech will be started now. So in the meantime, you can think about any questions, so then you can ask towards the end of this discussion session. So as the first speaker of this session, I'd like to request Navin Mandol to unmute and talk.
Jai Guru everyone, and thank you Rashida for giving me this opportunity to present my thoughts about charity based on the principle of Sree Sree Thakurji. So we often think that charity has lowest place in the ladder of progressing in the spiritual life, but many has this misconception, but Thakurji has given very dominant, or I would say very important, or I would say a very high weightage on charity. If anyone intends to progress in spiritual or elevate their life in spiritual life, towards the spiritual progress. So if we think about charity, and it is very easy to link Thakurji with charity. I mean, when you look back into the early days of Sree Sree Thakurji, he was regarded as a physician. And as a physician, what he has done, but nothing, it can be regarded as the highest degree of charity to human life by serving the old and poor people surrounding him, by giving whatever he can offer to the people who are suffering around him in his best capacity. So there is also a misconception about charity, that we always link charity to or in monetary terms, but that's not true always. Charity is defined as the giving of help, food, shelter, and money, those who can donate to those who are in need. So now, why we need charity? Charity, when we think about society we live in, there are people of various kind. I mean, there are people who are poor, those are in need, they are children, there are people who are old, they are sick. There are people who don't have access to good quality of education. Those who don't have the privilege of even getting a clean drinking water, or even those don't have shelter. So now there are people in the society who are blessed with all the basic needs. So it's, as per Thakurji principle, it's being and becoming. This principle of being and becoming is very much possible when we not only lift ourselves, but also when we live along with the society, then the principle of being and becoming of Sree Sree Thakurji's principle is well justified. Now, charity is not only a very new attributes in becoming spiritually elevated. It's been talked about in various scriptures, in Vedic scriptures, in olden Vedic scriptures. And if you read through, all the scriptures has recommended and urged ones to give in charity, especially if you are in a capacity to do so. So by doing charity, it's basically we relieve suffering around us. And as Thakurji has mentioned, that pride and ego has no place when we have choose our life to elevate spiritually. But charity is something which allow us to erode our pride and ego and elevate our life to become spiritually enlightened and also to progress in progress to become a good human being. Now, it has also been said, like people who are directly involved or who are working at the ground level doing charities, sometimes we think they are only doing charity. They are good because they have the capability to do so. But there are people who also supports them behind the scene, because so we have to see in what way you can do the charity. So either you support those who are directly involved in the execution of a charitable work, or you can motivate others through words also, or if it is possible in your capacity to make such charitable work through providing funds. So those all together is also considered as a charity. Now, when we think about satsang, if you see, that it is regarded as a philanthropy institution. So what is that all about? Because charity is so core to satsang philosophy, Sree Sree Thakurji's teachings, that it is one of the most important pillar, I would say, of Sree Sree Thakurji's teachings and principles. And as a result, we should always, by some means, should be associated with charity, and we should always encourage others also to get associated with charity, so that we not only benefit ourselves, but also it will be a great service to Sree Sree Thakurji's, the movement that he has started, that is nothing but our satsang. And because, and you'll see the joy of giving, it's so immense. It's unconditional love. It's an unconditional love towards the society that we saw towards our surroundings. And that's what Thakurji has done in his early life. And we should take that as a great learning, or we should always remember that how Thakurji has started this movement and accordingly we should also take it forward with the great spirit. With that, Jai Guru.
Navin bhai, that was really great, insightful speech about Sree Sree Thakur's concept of charity, because I think you explained this charity concept very nicely and eloquently, because the way Thakur started this satsang, it is actually it's a charity by heart. And you also touched about the concept of charity in the old scriptures, like all the Vedic scriptures and etc. It was really insightful. Thank you. So now, as a second speaker, I would like to focus on few areas about Sree Sree Thakur's concept on charity. So if we try to find the meaning of charity, then in dictionary it says charity is an organization set up to provide health and raise money for those in need. So this is very much a common understanding about the meaning of charity. But how Sree Sree Thakur has explained, we would like to analyze in next few minutes. So Thakur's concept, as my favorite speaker Navin has mentioned, that the Thakur's philosophy is charity is there in the heart of Thakur's philosophy, because the way Thakur started, the philanthropy word itself implies the meaning of charity. And even if we see the way Thakur has defined the meaning of religion, the meaning of dharma, Thakur is saying, I will just refer one Hindi message. Thakur is saying, "Sabko bachana, apne bachna, usi ko hi tu dharma samajna." Matlab, if we understand the meaning of dharma according to Sree Sree Thakur, Thakur is saying that in dharma means it is the being and becoming for each and everyone. So that means first I need to live and I need to help everyone else to live, and that is all about dharma. So that means if we follow Sree Sree Thakur's philosophy, that means we are inherently doing charity. And I would like to refer the way Thakur has defined the meaning of charity in his book, The Message, Volume 1, page number 113. In Message, Volume 1, page 113, Thakur has mentioned, the endearing knockoff affection that serves with the interest of others' well-being with a feeling of one's own self is charity. So that means what he's saying, if we just understand this message in step by step, Thakur is saying that endearing knockoff affection that serves means basically we should have affection for others, and that serves interests of others, well-being. At the feeling of one's own self is charity, means basically we need to feel others' problem as my own problem and try to find out the solutions for that problem, and that is all about charity. So basically, the thing is that sometimes people ask that what satsang is doing, what sort of charity is performed by, our charity works are being performed by satsang. Basically, satsang does not give any ad in a TV or in electronic media like what type of charity is doing, because satsang in heart, satsang teaches about charity. Charity, the moment we take initiation, so that means we become every individual, or rather what I wanted to say, that every satsangi is a charity institute by heart, by heart, mind and action. Because what Thakur has told also in another Bengali message, that পাড়াপড়শির বাঁচা বাড়ায় রাখিস রে তুই সাত্যটান তাদের ভালোয় করিয়ে তুলিস ইষ্টানুগ করে প্রাণ. Means basically what this message says, that we need to be careful about environment and how people are surviving in my locality or in my neighborhood, etc. and I need to take care of them, and I need to ensure that they will be in a good form and safe. So that means, see, thing is that if we follow Sree Sree Thakur's principle, then we don't need to do charity in any other way, because Thakur's, if we follow Thakur's message thoroughly, then the concept of charity is very much inbuilt within the message. So Thakur, so it is essential that we must understand Sree Sree Thakur's philosophy, and after taking initiation, if we follow the basic concepts of this Jajan Ishtaviti Sustani Sadachar, then charity will already be involved in that particular in those actions. But also, like we satsang is we satsang does the charity work whenever some sort of natural calamity happens, or any sort of any emergency comes. So that's something one of a time, because if we see, thing is that the biggest help someone to make the thing is that we can help someone in the best way when we can provide some sort of we can provide some sort of tools, so that the person can improve their condition, they can be more capable, and they can be more able. Because if we see that since we are in UK, we see lots of charity works are done by government. Means government does lots of social responsibility, where the persons who are not in job, they provide job support allowance. The persons who don't have houses, government provide free houses, etc., etc. There are many in all countries. In particularly in West, these sort of charities are there. But what we have seen, that the person, those who are getting this sort of government support, and those who are surviving in this sort of government help, ultimately they are not able to they are not able to make themselves more able, because eventually the people become lazy, and they become simply dependent on this charity. So that's why Thakur, according to Thakur, someone, if we can provide this Satnam, and if we can initiate more people, that will be the biggest charity. Because in this, when we ask someone to take Satnam, like in Thakur's this initiation process, it is just about how everyone can become more capable, and can become more able, or become more powerful from their current state. So that's why Thakur's charity, this concept of initiation itself is the biggest charity for everyone else. So hence, I'd like to focus again, we need to ensure that we continue the basic basic duty after taking initiation, like Jajan Ishtaviti, Sustani and Sadachar in toto, and the way Thakur has mentioned, the way Acharya is guiding, then automatically we will be able to do charity to lot of people. So I will not continue my speech anymore. Now I'd like to request Amit Ghosh to talk on this subject. Thank you.
Jai Guru to everyone. As we have heard quite a lot of information from both Rajarshi and our Navin Vai, and mostly they have touched the main philosophy of Sree Sree Thakur's concept of charity. Now, I would like to share something on top of that. And one is, as we understand, and we have just listened, that Thakur's 5 pillars, given us 5 pillars. Those are Jojon Jajon Ishtabhriti Shastani Sadachar. The Jojon is the self-development. And when we are developed, means we are acquiring the knowledge, acquiring the strength, acquiring the mental strength, physical strength. From all point of view, when we are equipped, our first duty is to serve for my family and for others. So that's why, as Rajarshi said, the initiation is the starting of charity. And Thakur has conceived charity as an individual household should be an institution of charity. So it is not that we have to think charity as a separate activity. Jajan itself is a charity. That means we are helping others as I am prepared. I am similarly preparing others and considering their problem is my problem. So that is the concept of charity. Now, Thakur has said here that if you love to live and grow, then let others too live and grow and serve them accordingly. Your existence will be nurtured in that way. And that nurture will be the asset of your life. So Thakur has said this in Message Volume 3. Now, what it says, it is very clear that as it is important for me, for my living and my growth, it is equally important for my neighbors, my surrounding, whoever is living around me, my friends, my colleagues, community, everybody should be get the effort, means a similar approach from me, that for their betterment, for their life and growth, I will be responsible. Now, why this charity is nowadays is getting too important? See, point is that charity is something. Who is provider here? Provider is a human being. Who is receiver? It's another human. Now, why one human is providing support or charity to other people? Because there is a disparity between two humans. So why this disparity is coming? There should be everybody equal, isn't it? According to nature. Why there is a disparity? Who is creating this disparity? It is human again. So human is creating a disparity, and that is requiring a support of one human to another human. So where is the problem lies? Within human. And that we need to understand very clearly. So we are creating an imbalance imbalance in the society, which is affecting our life and growth. So that's why we are again working on it and trying to balance it. So what is this, or actually who will take the responsibility of this entire thing? Is the human. Now, that's why Thakur is touching the main core of it. Like a tree, when we give water to the tree, we do not give it on the leaves, we give it to the root. The root gets the water, and that nourishes that tree and it grows. Similarly, Thakur has not emphasized that physical, support, some money support, or some material support to the people. He has created an environment where every individual will support their neighbors or their friends to nurture their inner ability, to empower them, to nourish their ability so that they get the motivation, they get the strength, and they start lighting their own fire, which is lying within them, but it is hidden. So Thakur is touching that part. That's why when you know that when somebody came to Thakur and asked that you are doing so much in this ashram, but you never tell it to others. People outside do not know about it. Then Thakur said, do you have children? And Thakur said, and the person said, yes, I have. Do you help or do you do something for your kids? You do something, some support, or you buy something for them or help them or love them? Do you do that? He said, yes, I do. Then Thakur asked him that, do you propagate it to the people? You tell it to other people? Exhibit it to the people? So no, it is my personal thing, so why should I? They are mine, so why should I tell others? Then Thakur said, so I could not find anybody not mine. Everybody is mine. So how can I tell that I have done something for myself? The same thing here. We Satsangi, we do not tell that what we have done, but we do it as a part of our life. Now, as I said, that disparity is coming, and that's why the charity is developing. And this, we can classify it mostly in two ways, this charity. One is the health charity, and other one is the social or mental charity. Now, health charity comes under, as before we have heard that water, food, accommodation, education, treatment, which is material requirement for an individual. If they are not getting money, they don't get all these facilities. They do not get the proper drinking water. They do not get any food to feed their children. They do not have any house, so they need shelter, education missing, treatment missing. So we need to put this as a charity. And another one is the mental charity. Mental charity is like loneliness, old age. There is nobody to help, and when I am older. There is child care. There are a lot of domestic violence, and for that there is a lot of difficulties in developed countries, and special child care is required here. And homeless people who has a problem and they do not have any shelter. So all this thing is basically mental. So it is not the financial inability is giving them this trouble. It is all their created, mentally created issues which require some assistance from outside. So these two types of charity. One is connected with financial support. One is not really financial support because it is man-made, man-created mental issues. Now, let's understand, as I said before, that we have a charity requirement. It is human-created requirement. Why I'm saying that? I was just reading a book, journal a few days before, and I got a statistics there, which is giving a current situation of socio-economic situation in India. There I see that if you categorize financially, three types of people. One is the rich people, one is the middle class, and other is poor. It appears 1% is rich people out of 100% people. And 28% is middle class, which means upper middle, middle, and lower middle. And 71% poor people. And unfortunately, 69% of national net income is being hoarded by this 1% people. 69% of national income is held by 1% people. 28% of middle class is holding another 23% or so. and remaining 9% or so is been distributed among the 71% of the poorer section. So why this type of disparity created? From today, 100 years before, Thakur has given this concept of charity, and that time he has given a lot of emphasis between a lot of people who at that time considered as a national leader, patriot, and he has communicated to do this development, bring up the poorer section, and he has given a lot of methods for that, and he has shown it in the Pabna district, making this ashram. How many people were engaged there, how they have been deployed, how we can get rid of this unemployment. All this thing was been physically, he has been demonstrated to other people, but no one taken care. And we can see this big disparity today after 100 years. So who is creating this? It is us. So Thakur's philosophy of this charity is very important, and that need to be taken care. And that's why, as Rajarshi has said, initiation is the process. And that's why Dada has given that instruction to increase the initiation. It's not for any other reason. It is only reason is that if number of satsangi is increasing, that means number of people will be getting that strength who can give some impact to the society, and that will be propagated further through initiation process. So here Thakurji has given some specific messages regarding this service provided. The he who serves, he's telling, he who serves people with their individual distinctiveness and makes them well up with unbreakable interested fellows feeling and service and serves the providence with every blessed, untiring untiring uphill go of life being glorified by adherence, allegiance, and active service for the so is a blessed boon of society. So he is telling that individual satsangis who can do the service as their capability, as their position, they can do this service for the society. It is not any specific way or specific direction. Wherever I am, whatever position I have, whatever ability I have, I can utilize it and help others. And that will be the blessed boon of the society. And that requires the adherence with Thakur, so love. So if I love Thakur, I will love all his creation. That includes all my neighbors, all my people around me, all my environment. Now, so source of all this service, where from we get this urge to do this? First of all, when I am a satsangi, Thakur has described satsangi as, when I can say that I am a satsangi, that means I am the I'm sorry, I cannot see the presentation. I am the companion of everyone's life and growth. So whoever is around me, they are my companion for my life and growth. So if I am living and growing, if I am considering myself as Satsangi, if I am loving Sree Sree Thakur, then my first duty is to consider myself as the companion of my surrounding. And I have to serve them. That is my duty. So, and then he has said that, know this for certain, you are responsible for the present and future of yourself, your family, your environment, and country. So what sort of responsibility? It includes this charity as well. So it is not that I am talking. I have to do it through service, active service as well. So this one is said in Satyanusaran. Now, Thakur has said in one place that if you love me, first thing is if you love me, then your interest will be to do good for others. So it is my interest, if I love him, as I said before, if I love him, then his creation means all people around me, all environment around me, I love them. So my interest will be do good for others. Thakur is saying, I have repeatedly told you, now I am telling you again, if you desire one's own good, like to satisfy own interest, then do good for your surroundings and take interest for your environment with ideal-centric effulgement. So I have to keep my Thakur in my center, and I have to take responsibility of others surrounding. And that is my duty now. And then again in one place in Satyanusaran, Thakur has said, the desire for the good of others is the mother of one's own good. And everywhere Thakur has given the very high importance to the charitable work. Now, yeah, I think I have covered most of the thing. And yeah, if anyone have any question, come please.
Jai Guru Dada. It's an interesting concept, very nice, elaborated, very nicely, three of you. I had 3 questions in mind initially.
Okay.
First question was, is Thakur is a charitable person? I believe from my understanding, it is yes, you have answered a lot. He is a charitable person. Second question came, what is the difference between love and charity? So if you see the different religion, they also talk about the charity, which is highest form of love. Because when you do the charity, you give with wholeheartedly, you don't expect anything. Whereas love, Thakur's ideology, when you love, there is no measurement about love. That's it, Thakur's things. You talked about how do we love others for the growth and the other things. As an individual Satsangi, it's practically what you should do day to day to implement that kind of thought process, and how we can influence others in their large scale they can implement on their own practice. That's the last question.
Yeah, it's very good because it is saying is something and doing is again, we generally get a little bit of, misconception how I can do it. Like everybody, all of us, we support people, we support in a different way. Like we do some direct debit for whatever, say for instance, British Red Cross, or we take Save the Children, that sort of thing we do. But that is not directly supporting people. You cannot get a direct, impulse of it. And impulse of that serving somebody. So that actually you need not require to be very specifically think all the time. You have to be a little bit proactive about what you are facing in day-to-day life. It is not a very specific big effort. Anything you do, like your friend, I'm just giving one or two small examples. Like any friend is in distress, he is getting some mental, exhaustion or getting upset or something happened. He couldn't control himself. He's in depression or more or less, for instance. In that time, if you meet him, give him some sort of assurance, some sort of guideline, give him some, some way out, give him some speeches, some, Banis of Thakur, and explain him how Thakur has explained us that how we can make it easier for our life and we can deal with that situation. That will help him. Maybe he will get benefited from there. So that is a small help we can do in our friend circle and other things. But physical sense, if you see, say for instance, I can give some of my example I have faced in my life. Like small thing, in my childhood, I was initiated in my childhood. So Thakur's principle somehow stored in my mind. And I just Satyanusharan itself. So I know that helping is one of my duty. So it is not that you will get a big opportunity to do something. Like one day I was coming back from my college. Yeah. I was just get out of the train and started walking, and I saw something dropped from the rail track, from the train on the track, or just on the side. It was evening. It was quite dark that time. Eventually, I had one of my friend with me. I ran there and saw that one person dropped somehow lose his control and dropped from the train, and he dropped on a rails lying next to the railway track, and there is a bush, and in that area he was dropped. So he was quite good, he got quite hard. I saw all the people, almost 100 people or more, came out from that platform. Everybody just look at it and then continue walking. No one came to that place. And luckily I had that friend with me. So I hold him, both of us hold him on our shoulder and walk around 100, 150 meters, 200 meters to get a rickshaw from the railway track, and then, crossing, railway crossing. And then I got that rickshaw and took him to the nursing home where he has been treated, got some stitches, some medicine and also. Now point is that after that, I bring him back at home, and my mother gives some food because he was thirsty and not feeling well, so give some milk, and then we gave him some money. He didn't have money also. Give him some money so that he can travel back to his home. And we took him to his station again and put him in the train. Now, I have seen few things here. This is the help to him, and there is no. I do not have any expectation from him, but I did it. Now I will tell 2-3 points here, which also help us to understand what is the difference between Thakur's philosophy and if we follow Thakur and if we don't follow Thakur, how it works. See, in that time, I have faced few people, like doctor. First point of contact is doctor. Doctor, he know me. He's our family physician. He know my father. I told him that this person dropped from the railway, from train. Yeah. Still, he took his total fees from me. All the dressings cost, all the, and he gave us a prescription, which I bought those medicines from the shop, antibiotic and some other medicine. Point is that knowingly, okay. Knowingly, there is some disturbance coming, I think. So knowingly, they have taken their money, they have done their bit, but they have taken money and other things. And that person who has got all this, support from me, support means whatever, help from me, I gave him my phone number and told him, when you will return back, give us a call and tell us that how we are. Both of these people did not respond later, and doctor took his fees. So it shows that when a satsangi following Thakur's principle, their thought process are different. There are quite a lot. Initially, I thought it is for everybody. It works like that, but it is not. So your mind, what you have asked, the love actually does all this thing. Love gives us that impulse that it is my duty to do it. If we do not have that, we work or we perform or our action goes like the doctor did, like that. The medicine shop, anyway, medicine shop was not been informed that why I am getting this medicine, but yeah, but other people, they didn't take any attention. They could have come also, extend their hand, but they didn't. So like that, if you do, I have faced similar sort of thing in other places also. But point is that if you face any situation in your life, no one is stopping you to take a self-motivated, means what we call it, self-motivated action to do that. Only thing is that our mind need to, because whatever we do, say I am a musician, yeah, I play different music, but my hand is good working on that, but who actually work is my mind. Mind actually learn these tricks. And if my mind is not working well today, I cannot play well. So mind is the main factor here. So if we are connected with love, with Thakur, then mind will respond. And then our action will be according to that. So if we do not touch the mind, our action will not be in line. So that's why this is very important, the connection with Thakur, and that loves. I have seen same thing with my father also, and probably I learned from him. He was a quite renowned person in our locality, and he did somehow one temple was there, Kali temple, which was been used by a lot of the unsocial or not good people. And it was in the evening, no one can go, no lady can go and do their, puja or anything. So it was a problem creating area all the time. And a lot of gundas and that sort of people were there. And somehow it was so much highlighted, my father intervened in that situation. And as he was been connected with a lot of administrative people and, police and other bodies, they came and sought it out. And when they sort it out, finally handed over to my father, why Mr. Ghosh, you are not taking the charge? You are the main person here, so you should take over. So my father took the responsibility. A lot of people do not take it. He had his own business, but still he took it. And then in that temple, he has done a lot of work. He took from those money, they used to drink, they used to do a lot of own needs they were fulfilling. Now, as my father took over, he take that money, used it for buying that property around that place, made the temple properly, totally concreted, then started other business over there. Business means like, free treatment, doctor was sitting every day, medicine was freely provided. Students who were not getting, the education, we used to supply books to the school. Students used to get the private tuition. Tutor used to come over there and they used to teach. So all this additional things started. I purchased a lot of medicine from Calcutta and give it to support that, all this process. We had a lot of contribution in there. So it was quite a few years in my student life. I was totally engaged with that. So I saw that a lot of people were affected from that. But only initiative is that I will take it or not. So, and that comes from the connection of Thakur. So that's why it is what Thakur has said, in my life I have seen that it is highly, when we read it by word, we do not understand it. But when we do it in our life, when we actually feel it, face it, then we actually realize how he can perceive. It is not possible to perceive by a human being. He is a God, that's why he can feel. I have seen so many things. He has said 1, 2 word there in the bunnies, and that 1 or 2 word has so much significance. It is so wide, feeling is involved in there. We just read it as a word, or maybe explain in our way, but it has a very high impact. So when we are saying that it is possible by individual, that means only thing is that if we are connected, that's the first thing I have said, if we are connected with Thakur, then it is possible. We can consider ourselves as an institution itself. I think I have answered your question.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dada. Thank you. Yeah.
Anyone else would like to ask any question?
Yes, I want to ask a question. Amida, Jai Guru Amida.
Jai Guru.
You have explained everything so clearly, and so concept is so clear to everyone. I'm definitely sure. You have explained about the charity in India and your personal experience as well. I have got a question, like how is Thakurji's concept of charity be applicable in UK? Because we all live in UK, so how it is applicable in UK?
Yeah, so thank you. So if you see, I have said here, 2 types of charity I have said here. One is a health charity, health related charity, which is mostly materialistic. But there is another part of it, which is the mental charity. Mental charity is not really is the financial issues. There are financial implications as well, but mostly developed countries face this issue, the social and mental charity. It is required in those countries. So UK we consider as a developed country, and similarly it works for so many Western countries as well. That is loneliness. So here social status or social standing or culture is set up in a way where in a family, parents are not taking that much responsibility or care. I am not saying that they do not love, they love, but the necessary care, there is a sort of gap. And same thing, when those children are becoming a grandparent and their children becoming a parent, then they are considering their father or mother is an old man. We cannot take their responsibility. So there is also a gap. So that's why in this society we can see the major issue is all the old age issues. Old age people, their loneliness, because they do not have any person. I have seen some people who do not have anybody. He has not talked with any person for 2-3 weeks. We visited a couple of times in a charity here. It's they deal with dementia, old age people. They are anyway dementia. So dementia people do not understand what they are saying or what is his name. They forget so many things. Even when I ask them that where from you are, let me think. So they cannot think even where from he is or how many children he has or something like that. So this type of issue is there, dementia, old age issues, because there is no one to take care of them. Loneliness, because there is nobody, even in the young age also, they have only their small family. And if one is missing, somehow one is leaving the house and that sort of thing, they are so lonely. And then there's another issue for this same reason, domestic violence, which is creating a lot of, foster care is required because those children are not getting a better environment, a suitable environment for their upbringing. And then homeless people. I dealt with homeless people also. We have given we have given some food for them also. But what I have seen when I talk to them or talk to that organization, they said that these people somehow, somewhere been deprived, and they cannot recall what was the deprivation's reason, but they have forgot, or they have, lose their game in life. So they just think, I will not do anything anymore. Just if I survive, I will survive. If I will not, I will not. So there is these developed countries have the financial ability, so they need not require any charity from people, financial point of view, but they need charity for the mental support point of view. So if any person is lonely, I can go and talk to them. Maybe they will not even talk to me, but I can try. But that sort of thing, that sort of charity is required. And for that also government is spending a lot of money. I have seen a lot of old age people with medical conditions. They are coming, and there are people who are taking care of them, carer people are there. As I said, foster parents, all this money government is spending. So it is not, in this type of country, financial support is not an issue. Issue is time, issue is care, issue is giving some sort of, affection to them. That is important. So, and if somehow possible, we can change their mentality of become supportive to each other. So that's why I think in this condition, in this sort of countries, Thakurji's principle should be adopted very quickly, because they need to work in the root. Here, financial issue is not a cause. If you cause and effect, no. If you see the cause here in this country, cause is the detachment between the people. There is no adherence between the parents and children. Within any family member, there is no adherence, no care. I am not saying no care. Care is there, love is there, but their excuses is busy life. We do not have time. We have not faced it in our childhood. Why should I do it now? But all this thing is happening in this recent years. It was not the past in this country. I have talked to some of the retired colleagues in my 10 years before. Now they are maybe in 70s, somewhere 70s or 80s. Those people told me in their childhood, there was a very close relationship, very close bonding within the family. Children, parents, all used to sit together, meet not once in Christmas, so many times. And where it is possible, they used to sit together. If it is not possible, they were separate, but they were always connected, always in connection. So it is happening as it happened in India also these days. It has happened in last 30, 40 years, maybe. That detachment is coming. So in this country, main charity, if you consider, is Thakur's principle. So that means initiation in this country is very important, so that people can understand that what is the bonding between a family, how we have to bring up the children, how much care we have to put forward to our family members. That is important in this country. So I think in this way, these Western countries is a very important area where Thakurji's principles should be implemented, and we should be very careful and very, actively work here so that we can involve these people in the Thakur's team. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru, thank you.
Jai Guru, is there any more questions, or it is almost? I think we are past 8:30.
I think if there is no question, I would say one thing here. As I said, the main conclusion I would say here is that from charity perspective, Dada's view, what Dada has communicated to us is the 35 million. Why it is, from this discussion, I think we understood that 30 million is giving whatever we can see today. But if it is 35 million, you can see that how many people will be affected and what will be the magnitude of that for next 10 years, 15 years, how much people will be affected from there. And that is important. See, we cannot go beyond outside nature. Nature is always telling us, as today we can see this pandemic is telling us that what is ability of nature, how much they can just play with us like this as they want. But we ignore it. You know, we people do this Ishtavriti. What is that Ishtavriti? We are learning to give in the morning, and to whom we are giving? This Creator. All this Pancho, you know, Jagga, Mahajagga. This Pancha Mahajagga is, we are giving, offering to those 5 pillars. So that 5 pillars is the creation. And that we give it to Thakur, so that Thakur is the creator in front of us. So that first thing we do is we support the nature. We respect the nature. If we do not respect nature, nature will give us return. And that is happening. So first thing for satsang is motivation should be to initiate more people. But obviously initiation should be done. Second, first is Jajan. Jajan means understanding. Their understanding should be at par before they get the initiation. So it is not that they will take some, you know, motivation and took it, and then next day they will take a second step behind. You know, they will go back. No, they should learn what is the need, and then if they enter, then that will be proactive. That will be, you know, sustainable approach. And we should take that approach to increase in this world for the betterment of the overall world. You know, charity, if you consider, if you see a stream in the mountain, it is a small stream, but it makes a lot of noise. It may carry a few, you know, 10, 20 liters, cubic liters of cubic meters of water per second. But when you see the river, what is coming out from this, maybe thousands of streams are coming to a river, it is stable. It is not making any noise because it's depth. When depth is more, it is carrying gallons of water, 1,000 gallons, million gallons of water, but there is no noise. So Thakur's principle is like that. We are not creating any noise, but we are doing the massive work for the society. So you cannot see that the charity as such, because today's day, people think about those streams where there are a lot of noise, a lot of advertisement, doing this much job, but advertisement is this big. And that is mostly money related. So you are making everybody as a beggar. Thakur's principle is not to make a beggar, make a fighter. So we prepare fighters. We don't prepare beggar for future. Beggar cannot win. So we have to work like a river. And that river eventually goes and meet with the sea. And that sea creates again the vapor. And that comes back again as rain. And that comes again through the stream. So this cycle completes. So we have to create that cycle, that we have to develop, work in the root of the tree, and that will complete the cycle. And so we need not require to, scare that what we do in charity area, we do nothing. We have listened to so many people from so many people. So this session, I think, at least for everybody of us, should get a very clear concept that we are doing a very big charity. It's not that in physical nature, but it has a huge impact on the society. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru Amida. I
Jai
think
Guru.
that was really insightful with lots of data and Thakur's message. And I hope that everyone here got very good knowledge, very detailed insights about Sree Sree Thakur's charity as far as Sree Sree Thakur's philosophy. As we also mentioned, every individual satsangi is a charity institute. So let's carry on. So I think with that we'll finish this session.